Hello everybody and welcome to another mystery box function challenge. In the purple box there is some mystery math and your challenge is to figure out what it is. We're on the last few days of this year-long series, so every day is a special challenge day, so today's math is going to be particularly tricky. You can use the link in the description if you want to try this out on your own, and when you've got an idea, come on back and see if we get the same thing. All right, let's start with a 0. Okay. So 0 gives us infinity, so maybe in that rational function category. We've been having a lot of those this week. Let's try a 1. Okay, 1 gives us 2. How about a 2? 2 gives us 1. How about a 3? 3 gives us 2/3. Okay, so it looks like the arm of a rational function. Let's go a little closer to 0. Now, that's just continuing up. Let's see if we get something similar. I mean, right now it looks very close to something like 1 over x. Let's look on the negative side. So -1. That's 0. Okay, how about -2? That is not what I expected. How about -3? -9? So it just flatlines over here on the left. Let's try -1/2. Wow, it just stays 0. Any negative becomes a 0. So it looks like we've got two very different things happening on each side of this graph. This side is looking a lot, very close to 1 over x. It's not 1 over x because when you put in a 1, you get out a 2. So maybe it's 2 over x. When you put in a 2, you get a 1. That would fit with that one. When you put in a 3, you get 2/3. So that would fit with that one. So maybe it's 2 over x. And over here, it's just 0. So how is that going to happen? So one clue here is that the left and right are very different. So that always makes me wonder if I'm having something going on with the absolute value. And the other thing I'm noticing is that this is like 1 over x, but doubled. So we double this. And here it's, well, I mean, it's going to 0. So we have something that's doubled here and something that's 0 here. And if you're talking about an absolute value, maybe you're adding on one side and subtracting on the other. Oh, yeah, I think that is exactly what's happening. So let's take the point 2, for example. So if we had 1 over x, we'd have 1 over 2. And then we're going to double it. We're going to add another one. And then over here, we're going to have a 1 over -2. And we're going to add a 1 over a +2. Or we're going to subtract a 1. I mean, I guess that's the other way to think about it. Subtract a -1 over 2. And that is a kind of a pattern you can do with the absolute value. And to do this, all we'd really need to have is 1 over x and 1 over the absolute value of x. So you can see how that works on this side. And to do another one, if we put in a 3 for x, we're going to have 1/3 plus 1/3. The absolute value of those positive numbers is just going to be that number. And then so we get 2/3. 1/4 plus 1/4 is going to be 1/2. So you can see how that would work. On this side, if you had a -2, you're putting 1 over -2 plus 1 over the absolute value of a -2, and that's 1 over -2 plus 1 over 2. That's going to be 0. And that pattern is going to hold for every number. If you have 1 over -9 plus 1 over the absolute value of -9, that's still going to equal 0, and it would make this be 0 the whole way. So that's what I think we have going on here. 1 over x plus 1 over the absolute value of x. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, 1 over x plus 1 over the absolute value of x, and let's graph that. So you get this pretty normal looking curve, really 2 over x on the right, and then that 0 on the left. Well, how did that go for you? I think this was super tough. Let me know. Thanks, everybody.